I don't do negative politics. I don't need to. If you look at my Facebook page and scroll down, all you'll see are positive stories about the work that I'm doing across the Bishop Auckland constituency to speak up for local people. I wish I could say the same for Reform's Darren Grimes. Have a look at his page. All you'll see is a stream of negativity and bile. And while I don't do negative politics, I will always correct disinformation. I've had constituents writing to me who are concerned because of blatant lies that Darren Grimes, the Deputy Leader of the Reform Council, is telling on his Facebook page with regards to Labour MPs, the Home Office and asylum seekers in County Durham. I absolutely deplore this sort of scaremongering and smearing of political opponents. It's completely wrong. So let me tell you the truth about what's going on. Now, the main claim that Grimes is making is that there was a meeting between Durham Labour MPs and the Home Office on the 24th of June, in which apparently it was agreed that more asylum seekers would be sent to County Durham. That is absolutely false. The Home Office has since clarified that the meeting that they held on the 24th of June was not with Labour MPs. In fact, I was out of the country that day. It was in fact with Durham County Council, of which he is the Deputy Leader. He ought to know that that was the case. It's also not true that the number of asylum seekers coming to County Durham is going to increase. It's not. The number of asylum seekers that County Durham is expected to take was actually agreed under the previous Conservative government. A contract was signed with Mears to procure properties and manage that process. That is back in 2022. The ministers who were responsible for County Durham becoming an area that receives asylum seekers were Robert Jenrick as Immigration Minister and Suella Braverman as Home Secretary. Both of those are now Reform Party MPs. I mean, you couldn't make it up. Darren Grimes' own MPs on his own front bench are the people that signed a contract with Mears to make Durham a dispersal area for asylum seekers. Let me be also clear with you that the number of asylum seekers that Durham is expected to take under that agreement has not increased under this Labour government and will not increase. What the correspondence from the Home Office was about was not the number of asylum seekers coming, but the number of properties. Mears has a responsibility to procure a certain number of properties, and over time, some of those properties get handed back, either because the landlord no longer wants to rent, or another reason actually is that MPs like myself or councillors like Darren Grimes might say, hang on a minute, this isn't an appropriate area or place to put asylum seekers. So for whatever reason, the overall estate had decreased over time. So Mears was simply writing to the Home Office and the Home Office writing to the Council to say that because the number of properties has fallen below an acceptable level, they're going to open up some new properties to replace the ones that have been lost. That is not an increase in the number of asylum seekers. That number has not increased under this Labour government. As I say, that number was put in place under the Tory government, and the ministers responsible are now Reform Party MPs on the Reform Party front bench. Let me be clear about one more thing, because I've also seen doing the grounds grossly exaggerated figures about the number of asylum seekers in County Durham today. One of the things that they do is they conflate HMOs with asylum seekers. An HMO is simply a house of multiple occupancy. The vast majority of HMOs in Durham are for Durham University students. They're around the city centre of Durham, and there are students housed in those HMOs. You may want to guess how many asylum seekers there actually are in Durham. I'll tell you, it's about 540. That's about 1 per 1,000 people in the population. That's it. Now, Labour is committed to dealing with the asylum system. The number of small boats this year is nearly half what it was last year. The number of arrests of people smugglers is up 77%, and net migration since Labour came to power has fallen by over 80%. We are listening, we understand people's concerns, but the way to deal with those concerns is through mature, sensible, grown-up politics, not this ridiculous fear-mongering and lies and smearing your opponents, which is sadly all that we're seeing from the Reform leadership of our local council. And I finish where I started. I invite you to compare my Facebook page to Darren Grimes, and what you will see from me is somebody that's out and about in the villages of Bishop Auckland constituency, in Bishop, in Shildon, in Crook, in Townlaw, in Barnard Castle, and all the villages around, doing my best to listen to people, to represent people on the issues that matter. And all you will see from them is a whole page of negativity, of bile, of smearing their opponents. And why is that? It's because they've got nothing positive to say, because they've done nothing positive in the time that they've been running our council.